And the title of her presentation is, now I was sitting here for, these 10 minutes practicing this word, Andragogy versus pedagogy, or pedagogy. Actually did have something. Teaching the adult learner in an online environment.
Thank you. Today I basically want to go over how different it is to teach a face-to-face course and an online course. Lots of times instructors in higher ed are given the opportunity to go into the online environment, but the point is we can't really teach it the way we would a face-to-face course. I want to just show you, before I get into the question. I have a model here of pedagogy and andragogy. And you can see the arrows are signify the students. And the main idea here is, with pedagogy, it's really about the instructor, it's about the teacher, and it's about the main person is the teacher. But with andragogy, it's about a collaborative effort. It's about everyone working together. The student is much more self-directed and self-motivated, and they come up with the objectives, the learning goals together as a team. I'm just going to skip around because I know we're limited in time. The theory of andragogy was really adopted by Malcolm Knowles, and he came up with 6 main adult learning principles that really cater to the adult learner. And that's why we have these implications that really give us that sense that andragogy is really the best learning theory to use as far as an online class. Some of the things that he mentioned here are the 6 main learning principles are: learners need to know, the self-concept of the learner, the prior experience of the learner, the readiness to learn, the orientation to learn, and the motivation to learn all come from the adult learner, which is so different from a child. A child doesn't have all this to back them up. I'm going to skip the pedagogy because of time. With andragogy, the role of the instructor changes dramatically. We no longer really refer to ourselves as instructors anymore. We're really facilitators. We're working hand in hand with the adult learner. We're there as managers. We're there to build relationships. We're assessing their needs. We're helping them achieve their goals, their learning goals, because they're the ones that are setting these goals. We're there to guide them. We're involved in the planning. We're helping them reach out to different resources. We're the experts, but yet we're giving them a hand to also find things on their own. They're exploring on their own. And we're also encouraging them to keep going. Rather, in the role of pedagogy, the child, or sometimes the adolescent, is just following directions, following the clues, listening and memorizing, and not so much, it's more about direct teaching. And there are times where children are given that time to, teachers are giving them a chance to do some hands-on work, and that's called indirect teaching. And but it's not to the extent that we would want our adult learners to be doing that. Okay, so how it changes is that, it's a self-directing process. Professor Fleck mentioned that you give your assignments from the beginning of the semester because people work at a different pace. There's a reason why adult learners are choosing online learning. It's easy to access. They don't have time to come to campus. They have full schedules, work schedules, family, whatever the situation is. They don't have time to be at a specific place every week. So the idea is let them work on their own, let them research on their own, and let them collaborate together and learn from each other and learn from referencing their own prior experiences, which is key to andragogy. And they answer a lot of their own questions. So with online learning, we're decreasing the learner's dependence on the educator. Yes, no doubt about it. They will ask you questions. They will communicate with you. The facilitator will have a presence, an online presence in the course. That's one way that we sort of set the tone for the course, by being a role model for them. We have to maintain that presence and demonstrate to them from the onset what is expected of them. How will they be communicating with each other? What will be expected of them throughout the week? What assignments will be due, or how they will be working together as a team. These are all ideas on how it all manifests. They increase their responsibilities. Now, remember again who the online learner is. It's a person who is coming into the course knowing what they want to know already, what they want to learn. It's maybe there's different levels. There's the more experienced online learner and the less experienced online learner. You can set the tone and pace for that person. Maybe in the beginning of the online course, you may have to guide that person more and let go as the semester ends. There is a lot of work behind being an online instructor. There's a lot more planning. There's, you know, the reality is you have to have everything ready from the get-go. Yes, you will be reassessing the course as you go along. There will be changes that have to be made, absolutely. But nothing is written in stone, so you just you improvise and you improve. The most important thing that we want to really point out here is they'll be learning through inquiry, and they'll be learning from interacting with each other, and by just finding problems and building upon finding solutions to those problems. That's how the learning process evolves. All right, so some tips for teaching online. Create an e-learning culture. So, like I mentioned before, an e-learning culture is something that you set. Know more about your students. Find out what their learning goals are, and try to help them achieve those learning goals. Set the tone for how they're supposed to answer discussions, how they're supposed to collaborate and work together. These are important things that you have to set the tone for from the beginning. Plan stimulating activities. It's boring to just, okay, read your chapter and answer your question. That's not stimulating, especially for an adult. We want to know more. We want to investigate more. So sometimes we can even link to social media, because that's the trend today, social media. We can make learning an everyday process. We have to be learning at all moments of our lives. So if it's connecting to our phone and finding the quote of the day on Twitter from your online instructor and building a conversation about that, that's a great way to start. Encourage participation, even though there is that lack of presence, that face-to-face presence, we can still build relationships. we can still build that interaction that's necessary for learning between, just from each other. Maintaining that online presence is important, and of course it starts with the instructor. The instructor has to be their role model. Provide timely feedback. It's important. 3 days the most, and you should be giving back reports or grading and whatever it is that you're looking at. And also promote some problem-solving skills. Okay, so how do we prepare the adult learner? Obviously, maybe it's the first time that a student, how is that happening? It's the first time that they may be in an online course, in the online environment. So let's prepare them. Let's teach them how to relearn. Responsibilities, what their responsibilities are. They should be aware of all that. Sharing the planning, identify the adult role as Knowles has pointed out to us. They're self-directed, independent, proactive, logical, problem solvers, inquiry. They're just, this is who they are. They're adults. And they learn so differently. Finally, be mindful when you're setting up your course. Set it up from the get-go. I don't know, every time I step this way, it moves. The transition is not just for the student, it's for the instructor. So the online learning atmosphere is student-led rather than instructor-led. And we have to transition, and so do the students. Be very mindful that it's about collaboration and interactive activities, and we always have to really base our work upon prior experiences. That's how we learn, from prior experiences. And also make material relevant. That's how we learn. We build upon what we know and we move forward. Any questions? I hope that I've given you some insight. There's a lot of slides that I had to skip. I hope that you can build a better online course with some of these tips that I've given you. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them. If not, you can email me and I'd be more than happy to send you these PowerPoint slides.